This is the Triumph Tiger Sport 800 Tour, an enhanced version of their already very good middleweight sports tourer. You see, I've already ridden the standard version of the Tiger Sport 800 and I thought it was really very good. And so could this upgraded Tour edition make it basically unbeatable in the sports touring segment? Well, today we're going to take it out for a spin in order to find out. Now, by the way, a massive thanks to Quadlock for supporting the channel and sponsoring this video, but more on them a little bit later. So let's kick off with a bit of a look at this Tour edition and what makes it special versus the standard Tiger Sport 800. The first thing you'll notice is the full three-piece luggage, which does come as standard, with a pair of side cases that I believe add up to 57 litres in total. On top of that, quite literally, we've got the twin helmet top box. This one comes in at 49 litres. We should test it, mate, and see if we can fit both helmets in, actually. Yeah. So a large AGVK1, a large, is it a large, the Glamster?
I think so, yeah, big head.
It's a little bit shorter. Not quite twin helmet. If you've got a Cardo or a comms unit on the side, I've got my brake free on the back of this one. Two large helmets won't quite fit, but if you've got a couple of mediums and they're clean in terms of accessories, it might just do it. All the same, it is thrown in though, the top box. But you do get the aluminium luggage rack, so you could put a roll bag on there when you're not using the top box. And also this rather generous, I would say, passenger backrest. The infills as well, these color-coded panels, also come as part of the Tour package, and they've got their own little graphics on it, and then a whole bunch of other stuff that should make this a superior ride if you're doing a decent amount of distance. One is this dual comfort seat, so a little more cushy for both rider and passenger. Another is the center stand, which is going to make chain maintenance a bit more convenient if you are out touring. And then you've got the heated grips, you've got the handguards as well, which in my opinion, there's not much point in having heated grips without the handguards to keep the wind off, so that's a good pairing. And also TPMS, or tire pressure monitoring, so if you do get a flat when you're doing big miles, of course you want to know about it as soon as possible, and so this is going to flash up a message on the dash if your pressures get low or if you do get a puncture. Then you've also got some dedicated paint jobs for these Tour editions that aren't available on that base Tiger Sport 800, including this, a matte blue, which I do think looks rather good, and also a more glossy Carnival red. Both of them get the gold embellishments across the luggage, the side of the bodywork there as well. You also get the little 800 Tour logos. And I will say, one of the things I noticed when I was reviewing the base model was that it did look a little bit, I don't know, not plain or budget, but it certainly doesn't look quite as premium perhaps as some of the competition like the Tracer 9. I think this particular paint job though really pulls the bike up and makes it look a little more expensive. And I will say I'm a big fan of this particular blue. I think it does a lot for the bike, and if you get it in quite a contrasty light like this, where we're amongst the trees but with a lot of overhead light, it really shows off the lines of the bike really very nicely, and so I think this would be my pick of the two. So yeah, you might well prefer the look of this version and think, well, that's worth paying extra for, but also consider that if you were to spec up all this extra equipment on the base model, well, it would come in quite a bit more expensive. This Tour edition is $12,895, and I took the base model on the Triumph configurator on their website. I added one of the paid for paint jobs, the luggage, the center stand, the handguards, heated grips, TPMS, everything that you could get on this bike, comfort seat, sorry. And I think it came in at $13,650, so not far off £1,000 more. So yeah, not only is it a nice looking thing, but also if you are someone who likes to fully deck out their bikes in accessories, then it could also be a logical, pragmatic decision to buy this one as well. Anyway, let's go for a spin and see how it feels, especially considering it is now fully loaded up. Now, Now, straight away jumping on this bike, I remember one of the things that I really liked about the standard Tiger Sport 800, and that's this really very comfy ergonomic. You see, it's partly Tiger in name, being a Tiger Sport, but you would say it probably doesn't have a great deal in common with the more adventure-y Tigers. But one area in which it does feel similar is with the riding position, which is very sat up, very upright with these tall and wide handlebars. We did a fairly long ride on the 660, a multi-day tour last year, the 660 version of this bike, exactly the same riding position, and I've got to say it was super comfortable. And then this one, of course, is aided by the fact that it's got that extra comfort saddle included. I will say though, it doesn't really prevent you getting into the sporty side of things. You can get yourself stuck in. The foot pegs aren't too low and far forward, and so it doesn't really prevent you from getting yourself forward a bit. And then also it does the practical side of sports touring pretty well too. You want a bike that doesn't feel too unmanageable when it's loaded up. And I think at 835mm in the standard seat, well, it's going to feel manageable to most riders and might look tempting versus one of the taller, more adventure-focused tourers. On top of that as well, I think the weight's pretty reasonable. It's 231 kilograms in this tour spec. Admittedly, with the case is empty, but certainly that's not too intimidating, let's say. And if you are a little on the short side, then you'll be pleased to hear that there is a low accessory seat, which takes 25mm off the seat height, so 810, which I think is palatable, or at least straddleable for a good share of the riders considering this bike.
I will say though, I think the big reason to buy one of these over a more typical adventure bike is the way that it combines that really comfortable riding position with a completely road-biased chassis that doesn't sacrifice anything to pretending to go off-road. That means much crisper handling, with shower suspension that's properly set up for the road, along with a decent amount of adjustability if you need it. Then you've got cast wheels with a more conventional for the road 17-inch front, and also some road-specific tyres in the form of Michelin's excellent all-rounders, their Road 5s. Braking is good too, with 4-piston radially mounted Triumph branded calipers, and so it's a bike that very much shows off the best of Triumph's abilities to set up a bike to handle. There is of course a touch more travel in the suspension than your average road bike, and so as you'd expect there is a little more pitching under braking and acceleration, but I would say it's not to the extent that you'd consider it anywhere near excessive, and it's very much worth it in my opinion for the extra comfort, which you'll appreciate the other 99% of the time.
Now look, I'm well aware that this engine is 100% the same as the standard Tiger Sport 800, but I think it would be selling this bike short if I didn't just at least touch upon it in this video. It might not sound like a particularly punchy engine at 113 horsepower peak, but I will say in this sport riding mode it's very direct, very peppy. Woo! And so plenty of entertainment for me. I think it's a really good fun bike. Maybe, you know, if you're riding 2-up with luggage and you're really leaning into the high-speed touring, then something that's a litre or above a sports tourer or one of the big adventure bikes, that sort of bike might do that sort of thing a little bit better. But certainly solo, I've tried it with the luggage loaded up as well. It's lots of fun, and not only a lively engine that can, you know, give you your kicks on the back roads, but also a fairly pleasant and usable engine too. It's not too bad on fuel if you can resist the temptation to open it up. It's smooth. It's got all the tech you need as well. It's got the 3 riding modes. It's got a really good quick shifter, cruise control, lean sensitive TC, plenty of mid-range with it being you know, a typical inline triple, really smooth on the throttle, and then also that, you know, typical, again, gorgeous inline triple soundtrack. Now look, I think it's fair to say that I'm very much a fan of this particular bike, although I will say there are a couple of things that are worth mentioning if you are thinking about buying one. One is the dash, which I think is kind of divisive, certainly from looking at the comments on our videos, with it being an inverted LCD at the top for the speed and revs and stuff like that, and then a smaller TFT at the bottom for connectivity and menus. And normally, I will say I'd defend this dash. I think it's better than people give it credit for. It's really easy to use, really easy to read out on the road. But I think there's a difference between it being on a Trident 660 or, you know, a more affordable bike versus something like this, which is getting pretty close to 13 grand. If you look at some of the competition, like the Yamaha Tracer 9, the BMW F900 XR, even the Honda NT1100 that I mentioned earlier, all of them get a big rectangular TFT dash. And so if that's your preference, then potentially this could be a bit of a sticking point. For me though, I think the solution is fairly simple, or at least a bit of a compromise anyway, in that you can just mount your phone on the bars so you've still got access to your navigation and media and messaging. And of course, we use quad lock. We've got their handlebar mount pro. We've got one of their extension arms to get the phone over into the middle. We've got their vibration dampener to keep the camera on the phone safe from any harmful vibes, and also the wireless charging head so that you never really have to worry about keeping your phone charged up. For me, it's the perfect compromise. The regular dash for your regular riding information and the bike settings, all of the media and navigation you could want here. And so a massive thanks to Quad Lock again for supporting this video. Links in the description below to all their products, and also you'll find down there a discount code. Number two though, in terms of just food for thought with this Tiger Sport 800 Tour, would be the level of wind protection in the cockpit and the fact that really this is predominantly designed as a sports tourer. Both myself and Tim remarked on the fact that it's pretty low, it's pretty aggressive, and so even despite having an adjustable screen that does go, well, it goes down quite far, but also it feels like it's coming quite the way up. Well, it does still sit pretty low, and actually I'm wearing a mesh jacket today so I can really feel the wind flow. And it really only protects up to around your chest. Certainly, anyway, the lid is fully in the wind as you look completely over it, as opposed to through it like you might do on an adventure tourer or a fully fledged tourer. So yeah, this is a tour adaptation of a Tiger Sport, as opposed to something like the NT1100, which is from the ground up designed to be a touring bike. And so as such, that's the bike that has the far superior wind and weather protection. It's the one that I'd go for if I was looking for something for like grimy commutes and riding in whatever weather, although admittedly it cannot even nearly go toe to toe with this bike in terms of its sporting ability and quicker riding. So this one for the quicker rides when the weather's a little bit better, something more touring focused perhaps for anything that you can throw at it. I think really though, this is a bike that really does find a sweet spot between affordability, comfort, fun, you know, just having a good time out on the bike, and a little bit of practicality as well. And so if you are looking for a sports tourer in this middleweight segment, well, there aren't masses of bikes to have to go and demo. Like I say, there are probably 3 or 4, and so there's just no reason that this can't be on your must demo shortlist.
As always, we love to know what you think of it though, so do let us know down in the comments below. And if you're more of a naked bike fan, then you could consider the Trident 800, which we reviewed recently, and so I'll put it on the screen now for you to catch up on. Do hit subscribe for more of the latest motorcycle news and reviews right here on MOTOBOB. A massive thanks for watching today, and we'll catch you in the next video.